the only flaw and shortcoming I see is with Kanan. You know, because it's like, even with Famous, like, I feel bad for him now. I was previously just annoyed by him. But it's like, I feel bad for Famous now. And it's like with Kanan, which I think eventually maybe they might kind of get him together, get the character together and his storyline together. But it's like, for right now, everyone else's storyline is just so much more compelling to me that it's not that Kanan's storyline is bad or anything like that. It just feels like it's not at the same level as what's going on with all of the other characters. But, you know, I feel like in time that might change, or I'm hoping that in time that'll change. Kanan and Famous's relationship, you know, it goes back to the thing I said about the drug game, like, destroying people and their relationships, right? And quite often we think about what it does to just the addicts, but not necessarily the people selling drugs. But it's like, you look at the Thomas siblings, meaning RAQ and her brothers, you know, and now look at Kanan and Famous and how this street stuff and whatnot has affected their friendship. Where I understand Kanan being mad at Famous for watching RAQ put the gun in his bag and not doing anything about it. But at the same time, I felt like Kanan's anger towards Famous was unfair. Even going back to earlier when, like, he slapped him or whatever for letting RAQ into the apartment. And this thing of him threatening Famous. On a whole, like, I get it that, you know, Kanan kind of came up with this hustle and whatnot to enable them to come up with the rent money. And I guess that gives him a sense of entitlement to the apartment in the sense of he's paying for it, so it's now his place. But it's like, him kicking Famous out is kind of wild. And then not just kicking Famous out, but essentially threatening him as well. Like, if I was Famous, like, you know, go see if you could beg your mom to come back home or something like that. Or figure out somewhere else to go. Get away from Kanan and don't come around him anymore. Like, consider that friendship over. It's sad, but it's like, where Kanan is headed and the person he's turning into, you might want to just cut your losses and not have anything to do with him. Because it's not headed anywhere positive, and he doesn't seem like anyone that you want to be friends with. You know, you're seeing, like, a lot of the selfishness that you saw in RAQ, you see in Kanan now as well. And I guess that's, like, the story that they're trying to tell. To be quite honest, like, RAQ is a very problematic character, but at the end of the day, RAQ is still Kanan's mom. To sit there and to listen to Ronnie badmouth her, to Snap, Crackle, and Pop badmouth her as well, and you just sit there, you don't walk away. I'm not saying, like, you know, tell them off or anything like that, because I don't think that'd be smart. But to sit there and listen to that, and you don't walk away from that situation, it's like, the way I see it is that RAQ's days are numbered. You know, it's, I don't know, man. You know, you look at it with Kanan, and it's like, you think about it with Ronnie and Unique, right? Where Juliana put the bug in Ronnie's ear about, you know, we can do business if you get Unique out of the way. And here it is that you have Kanan surrounding himself or being pulled into this group of people that are do business with him and are appealing to his greed and ambition that, you know, if you aren't dealing with RAQ, like, we'll deal with you. Just seems like a recipe for disaster, you know? And you look at it with Kanan, you know, and you give Kanan some grace because he's still very young and he's trying to figure things out, and you have his mom manipulating him. Where with the back and forth about wanting to be in the game, not wanting to be in the game, this, that, blah, 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 whatnot. Ronnie and his weird self pops up and is quite easily able to talk Kanan into getting into business with him. And Kanan is so stupid as to go so far as to, naive really is the thing, where why would this guy be inviting you to a party? You're a teenage guy. He's like in his 20s or something like that. Didn't they say Unique was like what, like 27 or something like that? And if Ronnie's a little bit older than that, then he's like somewhere between Unique and RAQ's age, right? But the fact is that he's a grown man. What kind of party would you guys be at where Ronnie and Kanan would be hanging out? Kanan goes to this party, invites Jukebox and Aisha along, gets there, and Jukebox is the one that has to point out to him that, the party is filled with hustlers. Like, there's a bunch of like local drug dealers at the party. What are you doing here? And it's like Kanan's supposed to be so like smart and street savvy that he knows about, what's the guy, Snap and Pop or whatever their names are. Isn't that like Rice Krispies? Whatever their names are. I feel like it's Snaps and Pop, ain't it? That's okay. Anyway, these two, like, Kanan knows of them. But then it's like you have these other hustlers in the room, and it seems like Kanan doesn't notice them. Jukebox does. Jukebox isn't involved in the game, never has been, but knows all of the players, right? Can recognize them. And quickly picks up on it that, there's more than meets the eye at this party, and they should probably get out of there. Kanan ends up staying and poses up in a picture with these guys. It's like it's a who's who of local drug dealers, and you go and you get in the picture. How stupid can you be? Why? Like, they're grown and they're foolish. I mean, we see pictures like this of like, hustlers from like the 80s and the early 90s and stuff at the club, and they're all posted up together and whatnot. But it's like, why are you getting in this picture? This seems like, if you've ever seen like American Gangster or like watched the documentaries about Frank Lucas, him at like, I can't remember what fight it was in Vegas, but him being like this random guy in this big fur coat and this fur hat, and the feds and stuff like that, the cops looking at him like, who is this guy in these ringside seats and whatnot? Or, you'll see these kinds of gatherings and, there's this unknown person that everyone else seems to know and pays homage to and whatnot that gets the cops' attention. And here Kanan is, stupid kid that he is, at this hustlers party where he doesn't even recognize the other hustlers, and then goes so far as to stand and pose up for a picture with them. If everyone else in the picture is a drug dealer, and like the cops or the feds were to see this picture, what are they going to think you're doing? Why are you in the picture otherwise? It's like just stupid stuff like that.
Thanks for tuning in. To ensure you don't miss any episodes, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, go ahead and click the thumbs up button if you like what you saw, and go ahead and share it on social media.